guys, welcome back to another Scratch tutorial. In this tutorial, we will be continuing and now part 3 of our shoot 'em up game. And what I did off camera was in the player missile I put the same deleting code, just put an or touching enemy so that now these they delete. And even the enemies delete when they touch the player plane. And now it's a pretty good game. So the first thing I want to address is the enemies are moving a bit slow. Well, they're just one enemy at a time. So right now I'll only wait 2 seconds, so now this is way better. A bit harder to play. And so now that we're done with that, let's actually make a crosshair. This is an optional feature. Well, I'm not going to keep this on the plane on the game, but if you guys want it, then you can put it. So this crosshair is just making a little crosshair with a line that points straight. So now just the reason I don't want the crosshair is because like you probably know that now our screen is a bit too full and the sprites are pretty big. And if we had a crosshair, we would make it even more full. So that's why I'm not adding it, but if you guys just want a crosshair, then you can actually use the code that I'm giving. So here I made a little crosshair and make a little red with and we want to center all of this, and we need this circle at the center too. Well, this is obviously not centered enough, but it's okay. So now this crosshair, with that we need another costume. I'm just making a tiny dot with paint, with the paintbrush, and well, I'm not gonna do anything with this. So now we just want our crosshair to go to our mouse pointer. That's all the code for our crosshair because most of the code will be in this line sprite because we are going to be making a line from the player plane to the crosshair. So we want it to go to mouse pointer. So now this crosshair goes to our mouse pointer. And that's pretty cool, good. And but the aim actually works properly because our plane it points towards the mouse pointer, so our aim actually works. So that's actually something a good feature. So now in the line sprite, we want to take a one flag click. We want it to hide because I don't want to be seeing a little dot. Hide, and we will forever. Now we will make a block. Nothing. We will make a block. Call it line once, and we will add an input x1, y1, and x2, y2. So x2 and y2. Click on run screen without refresh. So here's our block and we want to execute it forever. And in the first one put, player plane. In next one put X position of player plane. In Y1 we will put Y position of player plane, and then mouse X and mouse Y on X2 and Y2. So now we have our block. So with this we need to get pen blocks, so go in extensions and get pen. I don't know why Scratch made it an extension. We'll erase all, pen up, so we'll set pen color to something like, let's take a light color. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we'll set pen size to 1. And we want to go to X, X1, Y, Y1, and pen down. We'll take a pen down. And then we are going to go to X2 and Y2, which is our mouse point, mouse X and Y. So now I don't know why that came out as 7, but we'll make it Y. And now this should work. Now you can see there's this little line, and now it looks like we're actually hanging the plane by the propeller. But if you wanted that, here you go. Actually, I changed my mind. This is actually looks pretty good. Doesn't interfere too much. So here's our little plane. I'm going to make the enemy's weight a bit less, more, so 3, because now it's just hectic. And one thing we should add right now is player feedback. So now when the bullet hit us, we barely know if the bullet hit us. Unless we're watching, we don't know. But now we can just take an if statement, if else statement, and we'll take an if, we'll put set color effect in both, and we'll make it brightness effect, make it 0 in the else, and set our brightness to 50 in the if, and we'll take an if touching the enemy missile. So now we should, yeah, we can see that nice, it's getting bright. So we can put this, drag it into our enemies, and make it all, when I started, put it in here and touching player missile. So now, if we're touching us, so our enemies and player plane have some player feedback. So now that's pretty good. And we have this nice little crosshairs. So now we can like play around with the color of the crosshair to make it look good. But I'm pretty happy with the color of this crosshair. And now that that's done, let's add enemy health, because health is going to be pretty important. So now we'll make a variable, call it enemy health. We'll make it like for 2 shots and make it for this sprite only, because we want it to be separate for every single enemy. So set enemy health to 2, and when the one touching player missile, we'll change enemy health by -1, and we'll take an if statement, put it under that. If enemy health is, we'll take a smaller than operator, and put if enemy health is smaller than 1, we will delete the clone. So now it should, well, it's not deleting. So should change enemy health by a -1, and it's not doing that. Well, we can, now this is also something, the scratch mechanics that are a bit hard to understand. Why is it shooting from there? But whatever's going on, we cannot get these enemies in 2 hits. But actually, I don't think we should make it for 2 hits. We will just delete the clone because I don't want these enemies to be like, it's already really hectic on the screen. So making it even harder than that is, so now that's a bit better. We'll put a weight so that we can see the brightness effect. So that's a bit too much. We'll make it 0.1 just to, yeah, that's a bit better. And I don't think the delete this clone looks so good. So what I'm going to do is duplicate the enemy costume and I'll make a circle the size of the costume, about the size of the costume, because we can make a little explosion, just not something that will interfere too much with the gameplay, just a little explosion to make it a bit more satisfying. So that's looked pretty good. So we can take a one flag click, switch costume to costume. The one I start is clone will switch its costume to that costume. And we'll take out the set brightness effect and we can stop the script right now. And we will take if touching player missile, then we want to repeat. I'll say 10. Change size by, let's say, 5. And change ghost effect by 10. We'll change ghost effect by 10. Ghost effect by 10. And then after that we will delete the clone. And we will set ghost effect to 0 so that they are not transparent. So now it should, um, wait, we need to switch to costume. Switch to costume or explosion costume. Yeah, that's our explosion costume. So now you can see we have this little explosion that comes. I'll make things a bit smaller. Our enemy plane's still under that, but oh, that's okay. So now that's pretty good. So now our player feedback looks a bit better. And now what we can do is, now our bullets, they're not going towards the crosshair, they're going past it. You can see how I'm putting our crosshair here. But we can fix that in the next tutorial. And for now, goodbye.